And one thing we haven't discussed, and I really would like to discuss, if you don't mind, is Bitty McLean.
Yes, let's talk Bitty McLean.
Oh, which one is that?
This is the 10-inch with Bunny Rugs and Bitty McLean.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that one. Yeah. Oh shit, you have it. Cool. Bitty started in 1992, and his first release shot up to the top of the pop charts in England. I mean, ahead of George Michael, or all these big, huge names. He he shot up to number one or two in the pop charts with a song. And back then, I listened to it and I said, "All right, cool, no problem, thank you. Next." You know what I mean? You know the type of thing you say, yeah, and you register. Okay, the guy is from England, and all right, cool. And I didn't really pay him no mind. And when that album came out, and by the way, this album is his idea, his production from A to Z, sampling, overdubbing, voicing, mixing, taking the photo of the album cover, designing the cover with his guy. This is his product. So
Okay.
anyway, when I heard that album, and I thought, I didn't know BT personally. I called Robbie right away. I said, Robbie, listen to this. And he said, who's that? He said, BT McLean. And I said, this is the guy we want to produce our next album with. He said, well, we know him. We've done an album with him already. So, what?
Ah,
And so he said, all right, get in touch with him and bring his ass to Jamaica. So I said, all right. So it took me several months to get in touch with Bitty, because Bitty, I mean, he had done a sound system show in Geneva, and I knew the promoter, so I asked him for the number, and he said, no, I can't give you his number, but I talked to BT on your behalf, and so forth. And BT didn't respond. I then saw that BT had done an album in Hawaii with a label based in Hawaii. And so I was able to contact that label and said, I need to speak to BT. Please let me speak to BT. My name is Guillaume Taboo One. I blah 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 Sly Robbie. I tried to push all the you know to sound impressive. And one day, like, I had given up, and one day I get a phone call and says, "Hi, this is Bitty McLean. What do you want?" I said, "Well, Bitty, my name is Guillaume. I work with Sly Robbie, blah blah blah." I started, going, uh, and he was very cautious and very, because anybody can say they know Sly Robbie. So I said, "All right, I'm going to send you some albums. You're gonna see, and this and that." It was in 2004, and I said, "Well, I would love to produce your next album, with Sly Robbie." He said, "Well, I have an album with Sly Robbie already." I said, "Oh, well, Robbie told me that." And yeah, but and he said it was recorded in 1996. I said, "What?" And it hasn't been released? He said, "No, no, no." And he didn't elaborate on this. So I said, "All right." He said, "Send me a couple of rhythms, you know, and I'll see what I can do." And I sent him a rhythm that I had used for Horace Andy, one of the Horace Andy's albums I had done. And he came back a few weeks after with something called The Real Thing, which is a single that came out in 2005 or 6. And it was boom.
mm-hmm.
And I put it out, and we sold a fair amount of copies. And he let himself be convinced to come to Jamaica and record more material, fresh material, not use rhythms, you know. And we did the album called Moving On, and moving on, move on from the ska album that he had done into a machine drum, you know, not pure machine drum, pure, you know, a different sound and very heavy too at the same time, but you know, totally different. We wanted to really move on from that sound, and it did extremely well, and we were able to put together several tours and record more material and the working relationship is very easy now because BT is a singer but also a mixing engineer, a recording engineer. Uh, if you asked him, he could do a mastering uh, because he went to school to learn the trade of electronics applied to music. So that's how he got hired by UB40 when he was
Right.
17 years old. So yeah, he has, he has a technical background that's really helpful. He can build any amp, any sound system, any, and when I retire and build my own little sound system, I want him to build my speakers and my amp, because I've heard his equipment in his home studio. Good, very good. So yeah, BT has become the focal point of my activity in the music. I mean, I still do other thing. I'm doing a Johnny Clark album at the moment, and we did a jazz album with Niels Peter Mover. Uh, that's a fusion of jazz, electronic jazz, and drum and bass.
Ah,
We've done all sorts of different projects, but BT is the main artist I work with. We call each other every day to exchange what we could do and so forth, and we have a new album coming out soon called Forward. After Robbie passed, we wanted to do a Sly Robbie album just as a tribute to Robbie,
hmm.
and so we called it Forward. And then we have a soul album that's ready. Oh no, not fully mixed. And on that thing, we innovated quite a bit because um, when my daughter went to study at Penn in 2016, I helped her move, and I wanted to. Every time I go to a legendary American city, I want to visit the studios. I went to Memphis and visited some studios over there, Al Green studio and so forth. And I wanted to visit the studio, Sigma Sound Studio, where they recorded all the disco stuff from the Philly sound.
Hmm.
And and then I learned that that studio had closed and that they had sold their catalog to Sony, except some tapes that had been given to the School of Music of Drexel University in Philadelphia. And I thought, hey, man, they have all these masters. So I contacted them, the school, and they told me that they had some tapes that hadn't been released and that they had been bought by a company in New York called Revolver. It's a publisher. And I said, well, I have an idea. I would like to do um, what Jamaicans are doing, have been doing for 50 years. It's to re record over old rhythms. And so I, and that person I talked to had been the A&R for um, a dancehall artist signed to Sony. Um, with Dun Dada. Shit, what is his name? Oh man, I have a memory blank. Anyway, she said, yeah, that would be a cool idea. So we went to Philly, Betty and I, and we selected about 100 instrumentals from that period. And he has recorded 12 songs over those he selected. And it's going to be a soul album by Bitty McLean over rhythms recorded in 1975.
Wow.
It is deluxe music. You know, it is absolutely fantastic.
This is gonna be
And
great.
it is. And this is the first time that this technique of that originated in Jamaica is used for another genre, you know, because I mean, you never hear um, a soul artist record over old rhythms. They don't do that. They create fresh rhythms. But you know the beauty of Jamaican music is one of the beauties of Jamaican music is that they're very creative because they were very poor and they had to re-record over to record over old rhythms or I mean they lick back some new, rhythms but they record over old rhythms. You know all the Glenn Washington album that they did over the Studio One rhythms, or what Bitty did over the Duke Reed rhythms.
Yeah.
Uh, we are applying that technique to American music, and it works. It works. I'm surprised nobody has thought of this before. We had COVID. We had a lot of things, a lot of headwinds, and we should have released that a couple years ago, but we couldn't. And then Robbie passed, and we kind of felt down for a while, and then we said, all right, we're gonna do a Sly Robbie album again because you know respect is due basically.
Hmm.
But after that, it's gonna be the soul album. It's gonna be great, and we're trying to track down musicians from that period in Philadelphia. The drummer Earl Young is still alive. He still can play the disco beat like no one else. Um, the bass player, there's a couple of them alive, and so forth. And we're getting great assistance from the head of the music school because, you know, when I spoke to him, he got so enthusiastic about it. So this is gonna be so fucking good, man. And it's a nice adventure, you know. You know,
Yeah.
we try to go where no one has gone before, like Star Trek. And the beauty of working with Bitty McLean is that um, he is very creative. He is he has no tolerance for mediocrity, you know, and wants always to do something good, you know, and is honing his thing. I mean, it's really, I mean, it takes forever. And as a producer, I'm like, come on, man, let's get it, let's get this out and you know recoup the investment. But he says no, 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 no. And this guy doesn't record dub plates like all the artists do, so he's rare. Every Sly Robbie album with Bitty, I'm all right.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I noticed that it didn't say like Taboo One on it. Like it would usually say like Taxi, Silent River, Taboo One.
No, it's Midea on it. I think Midea is credited. I don't know why. I must have screwed up, but I didn't use Taboo One. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
There's a couple of his Sly Robbie albums that I didn't put Taboo One on, and I use Midea. That's the name
mhm.
of the company that owns the brand name.
Okay.
And you know, we didn't think of it, and I didn't proofread correctly, and I should have told his graphic artist put Taboo One, and then I saw it too late, and I said, oh fuck it, you
Ah,
know, I'm not that great of a professional. It's true, it's true. Sometimes I forget.
okay. Well,
But Taxi Sessions, yeah, it's an album of samples of Taxi singles that were put out over the years, and he did some loops, and Sly did some overdubs. I think Robin did some overdubs on a couple of them. Bitty did some organs on a couple of them. So it's not just a loop. It's a new rhythm built out of a loop.
yeah.
You know?
Do you know how
Yeah.
much it's going for right now?
No.
Well, it is impossible to find on the online market. And the one that I did find is coming from Japan and it's going for 200.
You're shitting me. So taxi sessions. Sorry, I have to check at the moment,
Yeah, go ahead,
right
go
away
ahead.
because it sounds unbelievable.
And next year is the 10th anniversary.
It's been 10 years already. Wow. Yeah, it could. I could press 1,000 or maybe 2,000s. They would go. The thing is, we're always looking forward, and that's why the new album's called Forward. I mean, yeah, we have like 10 albums with Sly Robbie. Love Restart, I think, is out also.
Yeah.
The single with Josie Wells is out. The one I like is Love Restart. It's got we mixed it very barebone and hardcore, and we made extended mixes for most of the songs. So the first song is like 8 minutes, and you get 4 minutes of instrumental, so you can really enjoy Sly and Robbie and the Taxi Gang, and hey, it's cool, and I gotta pay tribute to Bitty here because he is humble enough to say, all right, yeah, I'm the singer, I should be the number one star, but he gives space for people to listen to Sly and Robbie,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, what we could have done is do the album and then the dub companion, but we thought, no, let's do disco mixes. And at the moment, we're doing a new version of Walk Away from Love with Sly and Robbie. Um, and we have an extended mix that's like 9 minutes long. It's a rubber dub version of Walk Away from Love. And we're going to release it exclusively as an NFT.
Okay.
And what we're trying to bring into the is a little bit more fun than just a streaming, you know, a stream,
Hmm.
or even because we're working with a guy who uses artificial intelligence to create unique artwork. So if you buy the NFT, you will have your own cover of the thing, and it's going to be numbered, and you can use the artwork that you receive as an NFT to resell if you want, if you don't like it,
Okay.
or you can print it as a poster and so forth. Um, we're trying to explore those new methods of distribution and new I mean new technology. Because remember, Sly was the first one to introduce electronic drums in
Hmm.
1978 or something. Um, they were the first to bring the drum machine. They weren't the first to do a dancehall hit like Slang Tang, but Sly had used that, and so we're trying to find new ways of having fun, basically.